Hey, welcome back. So let's talk about something every single manager has struggled with. How do you set targets that actually get your team fired up? Instead of just feeling like more paperwork. Well, today we're going to break down exactly how you can become what we call a high-impact manager.
I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever rolled out a new target for the quarter and you just see that look in your team's eyes? It's not excitement, right? It's exhaustion. If your team's goals feel more like a to-do list, like a bunch of chores, well, you're definitely not alone. The good news is there's a much better way to do things.
And that better way? It's all about becoming a high-impact manager. And listen, this isn't just about hitting numbers. No way. This is about completely transforming the whole process. It's about turning these abstract targets that nobody really cares about into real shared wins for the entire team.
All right, so let's get into it. Where does this whole transformation kick off? Well, it all starts at the very foundation, figuring out what you're actually going to measure. The real high-impact difference, it all begins with choosing the right metrics. Okay, KPI. We all throw that acronym around, right? But let's get super clear on what it is. A key performance indicator. It's really just a tool. Think of it like a compass. It's there to tell you and your team if you're actually moving in the right direction, towards the things that matter most. So it's not just a bunch of data, it's your guide.
And this is the huge shift in thinking that separates a good manager from a truly great one. See, most managers, they just stop at what to measure. But the high-impact manager, they go way deeper. They ask a different question. How is this number going to change what my team does every single day? Because look, the best metrics don't just track what happened. They actively drive the right kind of behaviors to begin with.
So, the big question is, how do you actually build a KPI that does all that? It's really a three-step process. First, you've got to define what a win even looks like. What are the meaningful outcomes? Step two, and this is important, you have to kind of put on your psychologist hat for a minute. Think about the behavior this number is going to encourage. Like, let's say your support team's KPI is tickets closed per hour. What does that do? It encourages speed, right? Maybe at the cost of quality. A much better one might be first contact resolution rate. Now you're incentivizing getting it right the first time. See the difference? And finally, step three, you connect that KPI with a clear, straight line to the team's bigger goals.
Okay, so you've got the perfect KPI, but that's really only half the battle. Now we need to talk about how you frame it to actually inspire action. This is where we move past the numbers and into real human motivation.
And you can really see the two different paths you can take here. On one side, you've got the goals that just kill momentum. You know the ones, vague stuff like improve customer satisfaction. What does that even mean? Or these totally unrealistic targets like double our revenue this quarter that just make people throw their hands up before they even start. But on the other side, that's the high impact zone. We're talking about goals that are crystal clear, that are a stretch but not impossible, and that actually make people want to chase them.
Okay, great. You've set a really motivating goal, it's based on a smart KPI, now what? How do you keep that energy going for the long haul? You can't just set it and forget it. You need a system. A simple, repeatable process that makes sure that goal stays front and center and doesn't just become another forgotten line in a spreadsheet somewhere.
And this right here, this is that system. Just think of it like a continuous loop, a simple mantra. First, track progress. Use tools that everyone can see and understand. Second, give feedback. And I mean constant feedback. This is a conversation, not some formal report you do once a year. It's all about course correcting in real time. And third, when you do those two things right, they combine to create real, genuine team accountability.
And let's really talk about that word accountability, because this is so important. This isn't about finger pointing. It's not about finding someone to blame when a target gets missed. No, it's about building an environment where everybody feels that sense of shared ownership, that collective promise to not just hit the target, but to absolutely smash it together.
Now, when you really nail that loop, that track, feedback, and shared commitment thing, that's when you get the ultimate payoff. This is where the magic happens. It stops being about hitting one single target, and it starts being about building an entire culture of high performance.
So, what does a thriving, performance-driven culture look like? It's really built on these three pillars, and they create this amazing self-reinforcing cycle. Think about it. When everyone knows exactly how their work makes a difference, that fuels their motivation, right? And that genuine motivation leads to inspired performance. And that performance delivers real results, which, guess what, reinforces everyone's sense that their contribution matters. It's this beautiful upward spiral.
And just to be super clear, this isn't some fluffy, feel-good thing. This kind of culture is the engine that pumps out hard, measurable results. It's what drives real, long-term success for the whole organization. Honestly, it's the ultimate competitive advantage.
All right, so let's wrap this up with your high-impact toolkit. The key takeaways for you. First, make sure your KPIs are aligned with outcomes that actually matter. Second, use those to set goals that are clear, realistic, and genuinely motivating. Third, master that core loop. Track, feedback, accountability. And finally, use all of this together to build a culture where amazing performance isn't the exception, it's just the way you do things. So, I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about. A little homework. Think about the targets your team is working on right now. What is the one goal you can reframe tomorrow? Just one. The one thing you can make clearer, more motivating, more impactful. Because that single change, that's where turning targets into real triumphs actually begins.